Hi, my name is Beth, and in this video, I'm going to explain how to fill in the Layout tab as part of the Agroforestry Design Template. We already have a video to explain how to fill in the rest of the Agroforestry Design Template, so I will attach the link for that video in the video description. The Layout tab is the newest addition to our Agroforestry Design Template, and it will help us at Acorn, and you, the local partner, understand how to best arrange the different tree species in a 1 hectare spacing. There should be one layout created per agroforestry design. First, let's go to our Trees and Crops tab. As you can see, we have already filled in our design with the main woody cash crop as avocado. This is a design for existing agroforestry, and a typical farm here has 9 grevillea trees already planted. To ensure this is a proper agroforestry design, we have also included 4 other trees that are to be planted in a 1 hectare farm. The number of trees is included, as well as the optimum planting distance. We can also see that some trees will be planted in the boundary, and some trees will be planted in the farmland. So this is the information that we need in order to fill in the Layout tab. What we see is a large square. This represents a 1 hectare farm plot. And we also see a smaller table in green. This is where we can fill in some of the information from the Trees and Crops tab. If we zoom in to this 1 hectare representation, we see that there are 100 by 100 smaller squares. Each square represents 1 meter by 1 meter, and this is where we will indicate the positioning and spacing of the different trees. But before we do that, we should fill in this green table first. First, we input the tree list given in the Trees and Crops tab. Each of these species will be given a unique color and symbol. The colors and symbols can be changed as you see fit, but make sure there aren't any duplicated colors or symbols. What makes sense for me is to adjust the symbol so that the letter matches the first letter of the tree species, but make sure you don't use the same letter twice. Next, we can enter in the number of trees that we expect to find in 1 hectare, and then the planting distance. The next 2 columns will update themselves automatically as we fill in the Layout tab. And this indicates how many of each tree species or symbol can be found in the Layout tab and how many are still to be included based on the number of trees expected and the number of trees found in the layout. So, now that we have filled in this information, we can start to fill in this 1 hectare layout. Maybe there is a homestead located on the farms. If so, you can indicate that in the layout like this. However, this farm does not have a homestead, so I'm not going to include it in the layout. Let's fill in the boundary species first. We'll start with the Phyterbia, as it is the most spaced out at 10 meters. Then, we can fill in the other boundary species between the Phyterbia. Now that the boundary has been filled in, let's add in the trees in the farmland, the Phyterbia and the avocado. And finally, to fill in, we have the pre-existing trees, the grevillea. It's unlikely that they will be in the same spacing in every farm, so just do your best to indicate where they may be. Now that we have added in all of the species and finished our layout, we can check in the green table that we have added the right amount of trees. As we can see in the To Be Included column, we have included 3 too many Sesbania trees in the boundary. I'm quite happy with the layout the way that it is, so instead of removing the Sesbania from the layout, I can adjust this number to 51 in this table, but also back in the Trees and Crops tab. I also noticed that the spacing I originally thought I would use does not fit this layout. For example, I thought that I would be planting Sesbania 2 meters apart at the boundary, but in the layout I see that it is spaced further apart. I'll use the layout to update the Trees and Crops tabs too with the spacing that I see in the layout. So there we have it, a 1 hectare layout of our agroforestry design, complete with boundary trees, avocado trees intercropped with Phytorbia, alongside some already planted grevillea trees. Thank you for listening to Acorn's explainer video on how to fill in the layout tab. If you have any questions or wish to speak to us about the layout tab or the Agroforestry Design Template, please do not hesitate to contact Acorn's Agroforestry Hub.